Today's story is about a robot. A robot makes a baby robot. He loves his baby robot very much, but cannot afford its parts, so the baby robot had to go to another city. We are first shown robots performing tasks. It was a city of robots. Meanwhile, a robot emerges from a store, beaming with delight. It informs everyone that my son will be born today. I'm going to be a dark robot now. Son, like this robot and its wife, will soon have a box. They must build a small robot while connecting its parts. It will be their baby. Now, this robot moves to its wife. It makes a small robot while joining the parts and named it Rodney. It was their baby robot, and they become happy seeing it. Rodney was a cute robot. With the passage of time, the robot changes the parts of its baby. However, this robot never brings new parts for its child. It always fixes the used parts by his friends or cousins, because it can't afford new parts every year. This robot loves its baby Rodney so much. They have an ideal named Big Weld. In fact, Big Weld was a good robot. It makes things for the other robots. They go to a festival where there are some balloons like its face. There were other things. Rodney and its father enjoy it a lot. Rodney and its father were friends. They were watching TV at night. Big Weld's show was broadcasting on the TV, and Rodney was fond of it. Big Weld uses to motivate all the robots. No matter you are old or new, you can also make new things. Now Rodney also thinks it will also make new things for its father. The place where its father works, Rodney's father was an employee in a dishwashing company. Rodney wants to make a thing that will help its father in work. Now it makes a small bot, and it will help its father in dishwashing. Rodney was excited and brings it in its father's company. To test its intelligence, how many dishes does it have the capacity to wash in how much time? That bot does good work. It washes many dishes in a few times. Rodney's father likes this. But the owner of the company also arrives. Seeing it, the small bot gets panicked. The dishes there starts breaking. The company owner becomes furious. Seeing this, it says to Rodney's father, "Your son is mad." What would it invent? It has caused me a great deal of grief. Rodney and its father get depressed after hearing it. Rodney now believes it will leave the city and travel a long distance. It moves to the railway station to go to the robot city. There it will have more opportunities. It reaches there after being heartbroken. Its parents also arrive there. They ask it the reason. Rodney tells everything. I want to invent something. I didn't see this happening here. Rodney's parents didn't stop it and gives it permission to go. Rodney finally reaches the robot city. Here it meets another robot. It takes it to industry. This was the industry of Big Weld robot. The guard stops it when Rodney moves to go inside. The guard tells it Big Weld doesn't meet anyone. Rodney gets worried hearing it. But then with the help of its bot, it reaches there while flying. Big Weld was supposed to be there, but he wasn't. Another tall robot appeared. It was talking strangely. It was saying the old robots are useless. Rodney again becomes sad hearing this. It seems like it's a bad day for it. The assistant of the tall robot then inquires, "But the old robots are not as ineffective nowadays. The new parts of robots are so expensive. Not everyone can afford them." The tall robot says, "There is not our fault. In the coming time, the old robots will be disposed of. There will be no place for them." The assistant and Rodney don't like this. Rodney couldn't wait, and it comes inside through the window. The tall robot becomes furious when it comes inside. "Who gave you permission to come here?" It tells, "I want to show my invention." But the tall robot throws the small bot outside. It also throws Rodney out while attaching it with a magnet. Rodney becomes a magnet as a result of the effect. Everything made of iron attaches with it, even the trash. While getting free from the things it fell in the trash can, it feels pain because its parts were separating. It was feeling right because a robot was taking off its foot. It also moves behind it. The neck of the robot separates in order to hold it. The companions of the robot mean its companion and its sister move to bring its spare parts. But they discover that its spare parts are not available. All were sad, but then Rodney arrives. It joins the neck of the red robot, and the other robot becomes happy. They also make Rodney their companions. They say, "We will do everything together." One day they move in front of a spare parts shop together. They notice that there are a lot of people. None was finding any spare part. The old robots were worried about how will they prepare themselves. Then Rodney arrives, and they discover the red robot was repaired by it. They request Rodney to make them fine. Rodney agrees to do the repairs. It repairs them one by one and becomes famous among them. But the tall robot wasn't happy about this. After some days, Rodney receives a message from its father that it needs some spare parts. It was calling Rodney. Rodney was worried and thinks, I have to meet 𝒔𝒊𝒕𝒔, so I will talk to it that the old robots need spare parts. The tall robot is forbidding to do this. Then it is discovered that the city hosts a party every year. 𒔔🂈 also comes there. It is a good chance to meet it. Rodney and the red robot get ready to go to the party. Reaching there, they notice the tall robot is talking to everyone. It was saying that 𒔔🂈 couldn't come today. Hearing it, Rodney becomes furious and declares that this is a bad robot with a bad nature. It is a bad robot and wants to occupy 𒔔🂈's place. I think it has disappeared, 𒔔🂈. The tall robot asks it to leave. It can also make it destroy if it wants. Its assistant takes it from there. Now they move to 𒔔🂈's house. They notice a dice structure in 𒔔🂈's house. Rodney shook a dice, and as a result, the entire structure was damaged. Then 𒔔🂈 arrives. Rodney gets surprised after seeing it and says, you are here. Everyone needs you outside, but 𒔔🂈 says, no, this is not my time. I think they need that robot. Rodney agrees and says, there is nothing like what you're saying. 𒔔🂈 says, you're still an elder and I know what you don't know. It's better for you to leave. Rodney says, but you are my ideal. You can't give up on hope like this. Saying this, it comes out. When it comes out, it calls its house and tells its father everything. Its father says, no, Rodney, if anyone says to you, lose your courage, never do this. My son can do everything, including completing the work for what you went to city. Rodney gets motivated hearing this. It feels good after get motivated. It thinks it will move after completing its purpose. At this time, it can't do anything and its father wants it. It thinks to move from here. They've all come to say their final goodbyes. 𒔔🂈 also arrives and says, I am also motivated. I think we can't sit like this. I will demonstrate courage. If I do not demonstrate courage, I will do nothing. It goes to the industry in front of the tall robot. It says angrily, I've known what you're doing. I terminate you from the industry. When the tall robot understands that it is exposed now, it will not listen to it. It holds its feet and says, please forgive me. But 𒔔🂈 will not do this. It asks it to leave. The tall robot hits 𒔔🂈's head, realizing that it will no longer work. Due to it, it gets inactivated. It turns off. Rodney and the assistant take it out. Rodney starts repairing it. Meanwhile, the assistant brings the magnetic machine. With it, it holds Rodney and 𒔔🂈. The tall robot also arrives while taking its another magnetic machine to hold them. Rodney's companions arrive there to escape them, but they were stuck with the magnetic machine of the tall robot. Rodney detaches it. Then 𒔔🂈 reaches a place there was fire. This fire chamber was the trick of a tall robot and its companion. They want to burn 𒔔🂈 in it. At the right time, Rodney stops the machine, then all the robots of the city arrive there. In the end, there was a funny scene. The tall robot collides with a place and its all parts come out. Its companion falls into the fire. Here, those bad robots were destroyed. They all were happy. 𒔔🂈 has returned and they have obtained a good robot that can repair them and can make spare parts for them. 𒔔🂈 was also happy. It states to Rodney, you are my right hand as of today. You will complete all of my assignments. I am impressed by you. It also gives him some new parts, which he can use to repair its father. Rodney's father is pleased as a result. With that, the film comes to a happy conclusion.